Welcome to This Explainer. Think about this for a second. What if the absolute worst betrayal you've ever experienced could somehow become your ultimate superpower? Today, we're diving into a really profound essay that tackles one of the most universally painful human experiences out there. We're talking about taking the heavy, toxic lead of betrayal and transmuting it into the gold of personal excellence. This isn't just a basic survival guide on getting over a grudge. It's a deep, structured look at how to use that exact pain as the ultimate high-octane fuel for your own self-growth. I mean, have you ever actually had your trust completely shattered by the people closest to you? When the people you hold close turn around and hurt you, demean you, break your trust, it literally knocks the wind right out of you. We're going to explore that paralyzing shock of being hurt by your inner circle, and more importantly, how to systematically navigate the emotional aftermath without losing yourself in the process. All right, let's get right into Section 1, the anatomy of betrayal. When a massive betrayal first comes to light, the author describes this wild, turbulent roller coaster of emotions. First, you feel incredibly stupid for not seeing it coming. Then, you're just deeply, deeply hurt. And then, you get furious. But as the author points out, it's a painful lesson about trust, sure, but it's a lesson that is ultimately needed. It's a really harsh wake-up call, but it's exactly the catalyst you need to establish stronger boundaries and level up into a much more self-reliant person. Eventually, the dust settles, right? And that's when this brutal internal conflict kicks in. You start asking yourself all these questions. Are you trying to fix this person? Do you try to repair the situation? Are you just waiting around for a gotcha moment so you can prove them wrong or get revenge? But then comes the vital pivot. You realize these people simply do not deserve your precious mental space anymore. You might eventually reach a point where you can forgive them, but you resolutely decide never, ever to trust them with anything personal again. Which brings us to Section 2, Inside the Betrayer's Mind. Now, this kind of thing feels incredibly personal, doesn't it? When someone attacks you with lies and accusations, it cuts deep. But psychologically speaking, a betrayer's actions rarely have anything to do with you. The source reveals that this toxicity actually stems from their own unresolved trauma, their insecurities, their inferiority complex. They are essentially powerless, unconscious people limping through life. Because they can't come to terms with their own brokenness, they cope by dumping all their emotional garbage onto you. It's just a desperate attempt to gain a totally false sense of superiority. We're talking about the chronic complainers, the harsh criticizers. They numb their own pain by dragging you down rather than doing the hard work to lift anyone up. You know the type. They get a temporary thrill from dismissing other people's achievements. They demand the royal treatment, but they give absolutely zilch in return. They live in this constant state of fear and scarcity, frantically pointing out your supposed flaws just so nobody notices their own. So the big takeaway here is this. Once you realize that their attacks are just projections of their own inner demons, you are completely absolved of the blame. They felt the pain of their own broken selves when looking at you, and they chose to escape it by kicking stones at you. Recognizing that their rudeness literally has nothing to do with you, that relieves an immense amount of pressure. Their behavior absolutely does not dictate your worth. Okay, let's move on to Section 3, the necessity of grieving. The author maps out a really tangible, multi-step process here. And let's be honest, this is hard work. You have to retrospect and grieve for a long time. Why? Because you aren't just grieving the past. You actively have to mourn the imagined future you thought you had with these people. You have to bury your old beliefs and the trust that was broken. It is a profoundly destabilizing process, for sure. But it is absolutely mandatory if you want to completely sever those emotional ties and clear the ground for a better future. The ultimate goal of this heavy grieving phase is actually quite specific. It's to become completely emotionally numb to their offensive behavior. You grieve and you grieve until you have absolutely zero feelings left toward them or how they acted. It clears the static. Once you reach that pure neutrality, you can finally dive deep into your own core to heal. And once that static is clear, we hit Section 4, Excellence as Ultimate Rebellion. This is where the magic happens, guys. Instead of renting out precious space in your head to haters and betrayers, the realization hits that extreme self-care and extreme self-growth are the absolute best responses you can possibly muster. Working on your own mindset and achieving personal excellence is the most powerful, undeniable way to show those who doubted you exactly where they stand, without ever having to say a single word to them. You really just have two choices here. You can stay trapped in the cage of a victim mentality, constantly blaming yourself and wallowing in the insult. Or you can view this pain as a sledgehammer. It's the heavy, blunt tool you need to completely shatter the old you and forge a much stronger version of yourself. You use the pain to level up.
Which leads us to our final stop, Section 5, Rising as a Transformed Person.
To actually rise up, the author finds peace by just dropping all the self-blame. You have to look back and accept that you did your absolute best based on the maturity and wisdom you had at that exact moment. Sure, you might handle it totally differently now, but you didn't know better back then. Plus, you can take immense pride in the fact that you maintained your decency and you navigated the whole conflict without stooping to their level of insults and personal attacks.
And to permanently keep that victim mentality away, the author uses this incredible mantra. Whenever you feel down, remember, what if the hell you went through wasn't just for you? You went through it so that one day your experiences can serve and inspire others. Maybe it's someone out there waiting for your guidance, or even your own kids, as the author mentions wanting to inspire their son. All of it is preparing you for something amazing. So, as we wrap up this explainer, I want to leave you with this final thought. Think about the betrayals or broken trust in your own life. Instead of letting them define you as a victim, how can you use those sledgehammers to build yourself up? How will you transform your own experiences of broken trust into the unstoppable fuel for your magnificent personal excellence? What is your ultimate rebellion going to look like? Thank you so much for exploring this powerful journey with me today.